If you have an Earth sun and a water moon, this video is for you. If you are familiar with me on TikTok, you might already know where we're heading with this. This week we've been talking about intimacy healing through astrology. And so today I want to talk a little bit about the combo of having an Earth sun and a water moon. The reason why this intimacy issue that we are tackling today is prominent in this combo. So that is not to say that it cannot exist in other people. It does. I don't have a water moon, thank God. Just kidding. So it's not exclusive to people with these placements, but it is prominent in them because when we think about what a sun sign is, your sun placement represents your core values in this life. The idea that you measure yourself against to go, am I successful? Am I happy? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do in this life? Noise, bear with me. We're still low tech, but that's okay. That's okay. We're getting this information. Welcome, I'm Kady Rocks. Your sun sign has a lot more to do with your ambition, what drives you, and what makes you feel happy and satisfied and successful in this life than it does personality, external mask, or whatever commercial astrology says it is. It is a key motivating factor in the jobs you take, the relationships you take on, and the behavior you display in this life. It is kind of like, this is what I need to do. It's kind of like the task list you wake up to every day, which is why it puts a lot of pressure on you, but that's neither here nor there right now. Your moon placement, right. And when Earth is ruling the sun, Earth is steady, it's dependable, it's consistent, it's reliable, it is the nurturer, it is the provider, right? It rules food, money, the home, resources, right? Everything that work, service. And so when that's driving your ideologies, your values of how you think you're supposed to show up in the world, you might have a tendency towards self-sufficiency, meeting your own needs at all costs, not because of any necessarily bad reason, but it's like, this is what you believe you need to do to be a sufficient, worthwhile human being in this world. That's just how Earth is working. Of course, is this an absolute math? Of course not. Everyone's different. The aspects to your sun matter. The house that your sun is in matters. But if we just had to go based on what is a general overview, yeah, that's Earth, sun. The moon represents your deepest needs for intimacy and connection. Of course, it's your thoughts, it's your emotions, but more than that, it's how you process thoughts and emotions, right? So your moon is less about this is what I feel, and more about here is the lens through which I feel things. Here's what everything I experience is being filtered through. You feel me? And so it's like when water is ruling the moon, what happens is that there's this deep need to connect, to feel, to have all this depth, to be free and not necessarily be taken care of, but to join and be a part of. It's the way that the ocean pushes in and out from the shores. It's like I'm running away and I'm free, but I'm coming back to land. There's a need to connect. There's a need to show up for me. There's a need for vulnerability, for expression, for realism, and that's not that I say Earth can't be real, but Earth values being dependent upon and dependable more than being real. And so when you have these two things in conflict or in concert, you can say, this is a person who they feel like their whole life depends on them being needless and self-sufficient, but they have a deep, deep need to let people in, to be helped, to be carried, to be real about what is really happening. And so when all of that is happening within you, what will end up happening, because of course there are vulture people out there, bummy, emotionally bummy people will be like, hey, here's an opportunity to be loved and to connect. For whatever reason they might be bummy, whether they have some kind of cluster B thing, or if they have trauma, or whatever it is might be. There's a lot of reason why people are emotionally unavailable, but I'm not going to get on that tip today. I'm not one for saying avoidance is wrong and it's anxiousness is fine. That's not true. Everybody has their problems for varying reasons. But what matters is that they don't show up, not why. Okay, that they don't show up, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so, but it becomes an opportunity for these people because either they can't or they won't show up. And so there's a lot of relationships they are not welcome in. There are a lot of relationships that they've been rejected from and turned out of. And here's something that they can tend to. It's like being a person with what's the opposite of a green thumb? Like if you were to kill all your plants all the time and somebody, here's a cactus, oh my God, right? It's you're a cactus. It's hard to kill this relationship because it's self-sufficient. It doesn't need me. It doesn't need me to do anything. This is easy. And so on that level, sometimes it's not that like this person is manipulative or a taker. It's just that they think this is something I can manage because this person does not need me to give at that level. And so on some level, it's like you end up being a little deceptive and harmful to the avoidant or whoever is the person who is the taker, who's kind of like emotionally bummy, because they signed up for this under the pretense that you genuinely didn't need all of that, right? You're like, why would they know what you didn't tell them? But that's a conversation for another day, right? Like everybody's needs are different. Nothing is inherent. People aren't raised like you are. Everyone's different. And so here you are, either it's like, oh, I can take advantage of them, or it's like, oh, this is something my speed. Right? Not everybody's out to get you. That's inherently kind of narcissistic. Not everybody's out to get you. That's a victim story that we will tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better about what's going on. Anyways, moving forward. And so you will attract those people because you're their speed, period, point blank. And then what will happen is that because you've been thinking this whole time, you didn't really think that, but we'll say you believe this. You've been thinking this whole time that this person is fully emotionally available and capable to give. They just, there's just no reason to because I've been meeting my own needs. And then like something terrible happens, there's a tragedy, you experience a loss, you go through a loss of a job, and now you are so emotionally devastated that you can't help but need somebody. And then they don't know they don't show up for you. And so now it's emergent and now it's traumatic that you have emotionally unavailable. That's what happens a lot of times, by the way. Yes, people can be abusive. Absolutely. Of course. Now let's put our thumb over that and recognize that some people are not abusive. They just have terrible traits. And so a lot of times what will happen, it won't be that your partner is actually, traumatizing you or a traumatic experience in general. It's that you waited to communicate what you needed until it was emergent and then it became traumatic. So a lot of situations don't have to be as they are, and it's valid when they are, totally valid. But a lot of situations don't have to get there because it's like they had no idea you needed them in the first place. And now you're like, I have all these emotions, and it's like catfish. And so they just genuinely, they're like, what am I supposed to do? And sometimes they just get caught out of their depth. And so also internalize that really deeply because that's actually a good thing. And I know it might feel yucky and it might be like, wow, I'm accountable for that. Yeah, but that's a good thing because it should validate you that you are worthy of love and that person who you did all the stuff for and never gave you. It's a lot of times it's not really that they didn't love you. It's that they just had no idea that they didn't know your needs. They didn't know, and they were caught off guard, and they felt betrayed just like you did. And so it just wasn't good. It was just like a lack of communication between the two of you, okay? Because again, people aren't born knowing our needs. We have to speak, and you struggle with that because you're Earth sign. Anyways, it's okay that you struggle with it, but stop making that other people's fault. Anyways, and so like, what is the fix of that, Kady? It's the most unintuitive thing you can think of. You have to trigger the fear, because here's the fear. Here's the big kicker, is that you have this idea that if you were to ever be needy, need something, lack self-sufficiency in some way, and you were to expose that part of you to somebody that you cared about, that they would be like, ew, that's yucky, and run away from you. You're afraid that being a person who has needs will repel love and mean that you're not worthy of love. That's fear. And what will happen is the moment you decide to have needs after building an entire life, from the job that you work, from the friends you hang out with, to the people you date, after building an entire life on the foundation of you never have to show up for me, you have to start doing the things that will repel those people that you have established all those things with, so it will hurt and they will go away and your life will crumble. You have to ruin your whole life. And then you have to go, oh, I am still here and I am still alive, and that didn't kill me. And what I've learned is that somebody's inability to meet my needs is a them problem. It's not something's wrong with me. And even, you know what, that's not even a them problem, that's a them choice, that's a them preference. Just like I don't want to be with the person who can't meet my needs, they also are able to discriminate what works for them and what makes them uncomfortable, right? And so like you have to start asking for things and giving people the opportunity to reject you, so that you can learn where their capability is. And then you have to be very clinical about it. And I know you struggle with that because you got water in your moon, but you can do it, aka your air moon bestie who is completely detached from their own emotions. Yeah, you have to take a lesson out of my book, and be able to look at your situation and emotions objectively and stop feeling it and pounding yourself over the head with the ocean wave. Stand up, it's a kiddie pool, stand up. And your lesson to me is that it's okay to feel. My lesson to you is it's okay to feel significantly less, like stand up. And you have to everything is not an assault against you, water moon. And you know this because you are an earth sun, act like it, fellow Virgo. You're earth sun, you're better than that. Stand up. You know better is what I'm trying to say. And so it will feel like crap. And my advice to you is somebody who had to do a very similar work is start small. Start in ways that won't break you. An example that I used in a scrapped version of this video was I started little. I started saying stuff like, oh, it wasn't testing because it was things I genuinely needed, but it was things that if this person said no to this need, it didn't have to end the relationship and I wouldn't go without. I could get it from anywhere else, but it was genuinely a need. Like I had a charger die right before live streams. I couldn't go to the store. And so I go, hi, can I borrow your charger? Can you drop it by my place on your way to work? Right? Like, so we give them little opportunities, not tests. We give them opportunity because that's part of the problem. You would have figured out that this person was not willing to meet your needs if you would have made space for them to meet your needs. Like, you don't have to give them the mortgage. You don't have to give them your trauma. You don't have to give them anything heavy, but you do have to open the door for them to meet your needs so that they can either do it or fail. And before you get emotionally attached or invested in the outcome of the relationship, you go, oh, we're not compatible, because either they are just looking for a free ride or they genuinely cannot give on that level because that's not how they express love and that's not how they're comfortable expressing love. And so it will open you up to so much more empathy, to be able to see it's okay if we don't match. 1 billion people in the universe, I think, something like that. And so if we don't match, that's fine. I got to get you out of here quickly. There's the theory in business to fail quick. I would encourage you to do this with your dating experiences too. Fail quick before you create all this false sense of security and intimacy with this person, and all these memories, all these valid memories that are emotional, that are physical, that are like imprinted on your skin. Let them fail you as quickly as possible, but you won't be able to do that until you just let go a little bit. I can let them pick up milk on the way home. I can ask for $20 for pizza. You know what I mean? Like little things that if it's always no, if it's always an excuse, if it's always a big deal, if they're always guilting me, this is a pattern. Let's not continue, right? But because you're already in this pattern, it is gonna suck. But you got to get them out of here. But give them a little opportunities to fail you so that it becomes ugh, you're disgusted. You're like, well, I don't want you. It's because it's easier to peace out. And if you're water moon, you're actually really good at this, making stuff up in your head that's not true, especially you Pisces. So just go with it. This is your superpower. Allow them opportunities to turn you off by not being worth you. And you are so good at this because you're Earth, Sun. Earth knows the value of everything. What do we say? The provider, the protector, the resource. You know the value of your time, your effort, your love. Let people fail you, get turned off, and remind yourself that somebody's inability or unwillingness to meet your needs ain't got anything to do with you. So yeah, that's my little lesson on Earth, Sun, Water, Moon combos. Have you experienced this? If you have this combo, is this familiar? Does this sound like something that would help you if you implemented this? What combo should I do next? Let me know. Okay, love you. Like, subscribe, comment.